Okay, so let's talk about something you've probably heard a million times, the growth mindset, right? It's everywhere. But what if I told you the real story behind it, its origins, and where it's headed now is way more surprising than you think? Let's dive in.
I mean, we all chase this idea of a growth mindset, don't we? It's pushed in schools, in our jobs, you name it. But here's a wild thought. What if the code was already cracked way back in the 1950s in some old self-help book?
All right, so let's jump in our time machine. We're going back to 1959. This is where it all started, with a book that pretty much laid the foundation for this whole idea.
And here it is, The Magic of Thinking Big by David J. Schwartz. Now, this book was kind of a sleeper hit. It sold millions of copies with a premise that was honestly pretty radical for its time. The idea? That your success has less to do with how much talent you have, and everything to do with how big you dare to think.
So Schwartz's big idea, his central metaphor is that your belief system is like a thermostat. It regulates what you can achieve. It's not about raw brain power, it's about where you set that internal dial. How high are you willing to aim?
But, before you can think big, Schwartz said you have to fight something he cleverly called excuse-itis. Get it? The disease of excuses. It's that nagging little voice in your head, the one that's always ready with a reason why you can't, why you didn't, why it won't work. And man, he called it a silent killer of potential.
He actually broke it down into 4 main types. You've got the health excuse, right? Oh, my health isn't good. The intelligence excuse, I'm just not smart enough. The age excuse, I'm too old for this or I'm too young. And of course, the classic, blaming it all on bad luck. But the cool part is, for every single one, he offered up a mental cure, a way to reframe your thinking. This was basically a toolkit for rewiring your brain, long before that was a trendy thing to talk about. Okay, so let's hit the fast forward button. We're jumping ahead a few decades, and we're going to see how this philosophical idea from a self-help book gets picked up by science and transforms into a global phenomenon, all thanks to the work of Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck.
And when you put them side by side, the connection is, well, it's crystal clear. Schwartz's whole thermostat of belief idea, it's basically the grandpa of Dweck's growth mindset. One is more of a self-help philosophy, the other is a psychological theory backed by research, but they're both singing the same tune. What you believe about yourself literally shapes your reality.
But, and this is a big but, here's where the story takes a sharp turn. As growth mindset exploded and became this huge global thing, some scientists started kicking the tires, asking some really tough questions. And honestly, what they discovered, it kind of changes the whole picture.
I mean, think about it. Schools and companies spent millions of dollars on this stuff. But behind the scenes, a question kept bubbling up in the scientific community. Okay, but does it really work, like for everyone? And is the effect really as big and life-changing as everyone says it is? Well, the answer turned out to be a little awkward. A huge meta-analysis in 2022, that's basically a study of all the other studies, found some major issues. They pointed to something called publication bias. That's a fancy term for a simple problem. Studies that get big, exciting, positive results are just way more likely to get published. The ones that find nothing, they often just disappear. So our whole understanding gets skewed.
So let's really break down what this means. Once the researchers corrected for that bias, once they accounted for the missing, less exciting studies, the effect on grades and test scores pretty much disappeared. It became statistically insignificant. So the new thinking is that context is everything. The teachers on beliefs, the overall school climate, even cultural norms, all of that stuff matters a lot. It turns out growth mindset isn't some magic pill you can just hand out.
So this whole scientific reevaluation has actually opened the door for a new, maybe even more powerful idea. This is championed by guys like cognitive scientist Scott Barry Kaufman, who says maybe we should stop focusing so much on grades and start thinking about, well, cultivating the whole person. The critique goes like this. The way growth mindset has been applied has become almost obsessively focused on just one thing, intelligence. It's all about getting smarter, boosting test scores. But Kaufman and others are asking, is that it? Is that really the end goal of being human, to just have a higher IQ? And the difference in thinking is huge. Just look at the kinds of questions each mindset asks. The old academic mindset is all, can you change your intelligence? But this new personal growth mindset asks things like, are you interested in activities that will expand your horizons? See the shift? It's moving from a narrow fixation on one skill to a much broader, more exciting pursuit of curiosity and just becoming a more complete person.
Yeah, this really gets to the heart of it. The psychologist Carol Reif puts it beautifully. It's about feeling like you're in a state of continued development, always growing,
always open to new things. It's a mindset for your entire life, not just for passing an exam.
Okay, so where does all this leave us? We've gone from the 50s to today, from philosophy to science and back again. How do we synthesize all this into something we can actually use? Let's build a modern mindset.
So here's your new 3-step playbook. Step 1. Start with that old-school wisdom from Schwartz. Believe big. Set that thermostat high. Believe in your potential. Step 2. Be a realist. Understand the science, know that context matters, and this isn't a magic wand. And finally, Step 3. Broaden your focus. Go beyond just being smarter. Adopt that personal growth mindset. Seek out new experiences and focus on developing yourself as a whole person. It's all about the journey.
So in the end, this whole surprising story leaves us with a really important question to ask ourselves. Are we trying to build a single, fixed belief about our intelligence, or are we committing to a lifelong, messy, exciting journey of personal growth? I think you know which one has the real magic in it.